Hello everyone. It's good to make a video again. I feel a bit out of practice, considering we got quite sort of in the swing of things before half term. Sorry it's a bit late this week as well. It's been a very busy week for me. You can see I'm in a different place because I've just moved flat. So I'm going to get this video out today. I'm going to give you a week to do it. So I think I'm going to try and schedule the lesson for next week for probably Wednesday or Thursday, but I'm going to let this one go for a week. So you'll have a week to get this one completed. Today's a good lesson. Today's probably one of the most important things to learn as a programmer, and if you get it right, it makes a lot of things a lot easier, and it's one of the main reasons why we use programming languages to do big tasks, and why it makes it so easy for them to do big tasks, because we can use something called a function. So we can understand what a function is, what syntax to use in JavaScript, how we write it. I'm going to practice declaring functions and calling them. And with that, we're going to have parameters involved, and we might have a return value involved, and we'll look at what that is. And we'll quickly have a look at understanding what scope is. So if I just swap over to my desktop, just remember it's Code Academy that you're going to be working on. The next two lessons are, one's called functions and one's called scope. Now I've put these together mainly because functions and scope are completely related. They're really important. You can't really have scope without functions. And also the scopes lesson isn't really that long. So we'll just bolt it on this week and we'll just get it done. So if you go to your Learn JavaScript course, you're going to be doing for me today the functions lesson and the scope lesson. I'm going to use just the start of these to explain these concepts. So the two I'll need you to do is this one. You want to have a yellow tick next to functions, and this one. Remember to skip all the pro content. I'm never going to ask you to pay for anything. I don't even pay for it myself. What we get in these free interactive ones is enough for us for now. So let me just jump into the functions lesson. Give you a little bit of a description of what a function is, just so you can get an idea. There's a really good animation at the start of this one. Let me just get it up. So, got a function here that's called add one side. And this function figures out how many sides something's got, and it gives it another side. So if you put a triangle into it, it'll pop you out a square. Now with that same function, if we put a pentagon into it, we get a hexagon. Okay, we haven't had to write any new code. We haven't had to have one function or one bit of programming to make a triangle into a square and a different one to make a pentagon into a hexagon. We've generalized it into adding an extra side. So it doesn't matter what shape we throw at that function, it will always work. Okay, so we've made a function to save us time, okay, because it can be reused and repeated as many times as we want. We can throw one shape at it, we can throw two shapes at it, we can throw a billion shapes at it, and it'll still be able to do it. And it's still only one block of code. So you write your code once and you use it multiple times. So the first kind of function that you'll probably end up writing is one to work out the area of a rectangle. So I'm just going to go into the next one and then we'll see if we can do this one together. So I'm going to imagine, if you look here, I might just zoom in on this a little bit. Okay. This is how your functions are formatted. Okay. So we need to have, so this is a block of code with inside these curly brackets. And this is what happens when we ask for this function to be run. Okay, so let's try this over here. So function greet world console.log. Remember, console.log just writes it into our console in here on the right. I'll do hello. I'm going to put now. Semicolon to end off. And there's a little block of code. So let's see. I will probably fail this, but let's see. Okay, Okay, so I've run that code. I'm not really getting anything out yet. I'm just going to move my face a little bit so you can see my console, just so you can see. Definitely nothing coming out of that. Here's the problem. Okay, we've defined this function. This function's got something it needs to do, but it hasn't been told what to do yet. It's kind of like having a worker and you've told him, here's how to build a wall. You've got all the things you need and everything, all the knowledge you need to build that wall, but they're not telling him to start. Okay, so we need to tell this function to start. So to do that, we used this little bit here. Okay, so greet world is the name of the function. So this is going to ask for it to start. So our program goes like this. It goes, okay, there's a function. Doesn't want to do anything with it yet. Let's move on. It'll get down to here and it'll go, oh, we need to go and find that function. So your code will jump back up to here and it will run this little bit of code. Let's just try this. And we can see over here, we've got hello year 9. Now, we can go like this. Let's call that function loads of times. And there we go. What we're going to do next lesson as well, we're going to add the idea of looping or repeating something. So we could repeat this. But that's how you set up a basic function. Let me just go on to calling a function has a nice image in. So here's what happens when you call a function. This is what we've just done. Okay, so your function exists over here. When we actually get the function call, get greeting, we go back up into the function and we run the line inside the function. After that, we then move on to just underneath where the call happened. So I can show you this by, see if it saved my code. If I do a console.log down here, that's called finished. And we run this code. So this function jumped up to here, this one jumped up to here, this one jumped up to here, and every time we jump up, once the function's finished, we go to the next line down. When we got to line 11, we went up here, and then we jumped down and we did finished. So we always carry on the next line afterwards. Now, the only two last things I'm going to talk about are parameters and argument. I might actually show you a good example of this. So this is probably the best example that you're going to get. Let's say we've got a function and it's working out the area of a rectangle. So area rectangle, get the width, get the height, times them together. Okay, so you'll notice when we wrote our original function, we had brackets, but we didn't put anything in them. So what we can do is, let's write this one out. Function, calculate area, width, height. Now what this is saying is, when we use this function, when we call this function, we need to send it two values. We need to send it some information because that function needs some information in order to do what it needs to do. Okay, and what it needs to do is to log to the console the width times the height. So when we call this function, give it two numbers. Those two numbers will be called width and height inside our function. And then we can do some maths with them if we need to. So let's call this function calculate area. Now, instead of just putting empty brackets, I need to put those two values in. If I had three values like that, if we were calculating the volume, then I'd need three values in here. Okay, the number of arguments in the function definition are how many you need to put in the function call. So calculate area, I'm going to give it, it's 10 centimeters long and it's 50 centimeters high. So 10 width, 50 height, 50 times 10 should be 500. So let's run this and see if we get 500. Okay, really useful, because what it means is we've got this function now, we can change these to whatever we want and it will always calculate the right answer. Okay, any numbers that we want. We don't have to write the code again. We don't have to repeat anything. We just use it with different numbers. And when we can actually get to the point where we can ask the user to enter these two numbers, we're getting somewhere that's going to be really powerful. So the last little bit is going to be returns, and then I'll quickly touch on scope. Don't want to keep you too long. Just going to try and keep it under 2 minutes for the next bit. So a return, if we think about this, so function is called rectangle area. And then here, we're going to create a new variable that we've done before with this information. And we're not going to print it to the console. But this time, when we run the function, we're going to put that inside a console log. So let's see this, see what happens. Undefined, okay? So we've sent 5 and 7 to here. So width is 5, height is 7. We've created a new variable and we've done some maths. 5 times 7, which is 35. Still check that. There we go. 5 times 7, 35. And then so area is equal to 35. But when we try and output it, we get undefined. That's because we haven't sent that value back. Okay. By default, functions don't send anything back to where they were run. Okay. But we can make it do that. And we do that with our return line. So we say return. And what do we want to return? Do we want to return the width? Do we want to return the height? Not in this case, we want to return the area. So if we return the area, this time we get 35 out. And again, we can do 60 by 34. Let's come back to this point. Okay, so it's just a slightly different way of doing it. Instead of logging it inside the function, we're going to return it down here. And that can be really useful when we need to do certain things with our functions. So let me just quickly jump back. Last little thing. I'm going to let you go through. There is some other bits in there, but you're probably better reading through and trying the exercises to understand that. I want you to just stick around just for 2 more seconds and I'll just talk about scope. So inside that function there, we had some things. We had area, we had width, and we had height. Now, when we think about scope, our variables don't exist everywhere. And if we make a variable inside a function, but we don't return it, it's not available everywhere else in the code. Okay, so let me try and see what the example they give here. So scope is like a view of the night sky from your window. Everyone who lives on the planet Earth is in the global scope of the stars. The stars are accessible globally. So everyone can see the stars all around the world. If you live in a city, you may see the city skyline or a river. The skyline and the river are only accessible locally, okay? But you can still see the stars that are available globally. So inside your function, you've got little bits of information that you can only get inside your function, okay? But certain bits of information, we can make them global and everyone can use them if we need to. We don't want to have too many global variables because that's going to make our programs really slow. So scope's really important when we think about that. Let's just see if we get a good example of this. So here's an example. At the top, we've got constant variable called city, and it's set to New York City. So everyone can access this. Inside our function, we've got a local variable called skyscraper, which is equal to the Empire State Building. Now, when we return the stars over the Empire State Building in New York City, that is fine because they can all access everything, okay? And let's try this line again, but down here. I'm going to try and console.log. Exactly the same thing, but I'm going to do it outside the function. Error. Okay, why do we get an error? Because skyscraper isn't accessible outside of this function. Once this function's finished, it's deleted, it's gone. Okay, which is really good because it keeps our programs efficient. but we need to be aware that we can't access these things outside of this unless we return them back. We might be able to use them, or if we make them a global variable. Okay, so you doing these exercises is going to make a bit more sense for you. So your job is, hopefully that made a little bit of sense. Functions are not too bad. Just think about them as like little blocks of code. They've got a particular task. You can reuse them. Okay, and we've looked at the ways that we can put them together. Should make more sense once you go through the challenges. Make sure you read the information for each one. I want you to do sections 3 and 4. So just to clarify that, only the 2 that I've shown you on here do I want you to do. So it's section 3, the lesson's called functions. Section 4, the lesson is called scope. They're the 2 ones that I need you to do. Won't take you too long. We'll take you about the same amount of time as the other ones. So these 2, functions and scope. Next week, we're going to move on to arrays and loops, which are really interesting. And then we're going to be done. We're going to stop at number 6. Okay. So after next week, we will have done down to number 6. And then we're going to move on to something a little bit more interesting where we're going to start doing some coding from scratch. And we're going to hopefully make some cool things with a program that we use JavaScript in, which is slightly different. So email me as always if you get into any trouble. Message me through Show My Homework if you need to. Yeah, carry on through. Keep learning some JavaScript and see you later. Take care.